Hi, everybody. It's Pastor Brian from C1, and I wanted to share with you a few thoughts today around the theme of helping parents win. It's what we do at Chicago First. We believe that the family is the most powerful institution on the planet, and that when the family wins, everybody wins, and we want parents to win as they raise their kids, and so our role is to come alongside and help. And so I've shared something over the last couple weeks in Minnesota with those of you who I met there, and then this last weekend I shared it from the pulpit at C1 that I've been encouraged to bring here. And so it's that season when there's new beginnings for kids. And so the thought is that this might be helpful. I witnessed the principle I'm going to talk about today as we had our preschool orientation, and we had these young parents coming in with these kids whose backpacks are bigger than they are, right? And they're coming in for the first time, and you can kind of see the fear and trepidation on their faces, and knowing that this is a good thing, but it's a milestone. I wanted to share with you something that may be helpful as you look forward into the lives of your kids, and you have more of these milestones, because this is just the first one. There's more coming. And it comes out of a moment on July 5th, 2016, that I experienced that for me was really, really important. That was a day that our daughter, Natalie, was leaving home, and she had left home many times before. I mean, she left home when she went to school as a kid, right? You have these moments of separation, and she left home all throughout to go to summer camps, and there would be times when we were apart. She left home, of course, to go to college, but she always came back, right? She always came back home. This day was different because she was about to leave, and she wouldn't come back to our home. She would go to hers. For the first time in both of our lives, my daughter was about to have a home address that was different from ours. And that's a big milestone. And so I, stalled as long as I could. And it came time for her to go. And I walked her out to the car, and we had that moment where she kind of looked at me and rolled her eyes and said, "Dad, I know." And so I hugged her, and then she got in her car, and I watched her car go to the edge of the parking lot, and then I seen that turn signal come on. I'm going to show you a blurry picture here. This was from my phone, but this is the moment. And I captured it because I knew that the young woman who was pulling away and leaving, the next time I saw her would be a little different. She was about to engage life at a new level. And at every time that we do that, we change a little, and there's good things that come out of that, and there's a little bit of the innocence that's lost that comes out of that. And you experience that. The kids who come home from preschool have had a new experience now, and you're going to begin to see some things change. And when they go into middle school, there's all of those kinds of changes, and college. But this one, this was a big one because I knew that she was going off to engage life. And for a dad, I stood there for a moment after she left, and I just kind of didn't want to leave, right? But eventually you have to turn to go back in the house. And when I turned to go back in the house, between that turn and the door, I had this like panic attack. And the panic attack was, oh my goodness, I hope I've done this well. I hope we've done it well. I knew Lindy did. Her mom has just been a great force in all of our kids' lives. She's believed for things for our kids that I didn't necessarily have the faith to believe, and so she's been great. But we made mistakes, right? I mean, every parent does. We've done our best, but man, when you realize this is the moment where she is now, I felt like I was watching her sail away, right? I mean, and so as I turned to go back in the house, that panic attack was followed by a couple things. It was followed by just this reasoning in my head. And as I turned to go back in the house, I thought, we made mistakes, and there'll be therapy to correct some of the speeches I gave. But here's what I know about my daughter. She knows who she is. We had intentionally, over her junior high and high school years, and really starting before that, talked to our kids a lot about their gifts and their abilities and their hopes and their dreams, and encourage them to pursue those things. And while she didn't have everything in the world figured out, she knew who she was as a person. And she also knew, a second thing that she knew was, she knew whose she was. There was no doubt about our love for her, and the fact that she had a sense of belonging to family, that she was never going to truly be alone because we're family and we're here. And in addition to that, she knows that her Heavenly Father loves her, that she is a beloved child of God, and there's a sense of belonging that even goes beyond family. And that was important for me as I walked back towards the door. And then the third thing was that she knew what her next step was. She had a next step. We don't always get maps with life, right? And so there's adjustments, but we do get compasses. And she had followed her compass. She knew what her next step was. And as I got close to the door, I thought, you know what? We did okay. God will help her, and He'll help us as we continue to parent, because now it's just different. You're parenting at a distance. But that was a good feeling. I felt like as a parent that we had won. Here's my challenge for you. As you begin to think about your child, when you anticipate that day, and it's coming, I know it seems like it's a long way away, but there's a day coming when you're going to turn to go back in the house, and they're going someplace you won't be, and you have spoken to them, and everything's about to change. What do you want to know? And what do you want to know that they know? What do you want them to experience between now and then that's going to enable you to turn to go back in the house and say, you know what? We made some mistakes, but we won. We helped our child arrive at this milestone, ready for the milestone. And I would encourage you to have conversations about that, to write those things down, and no matter how young your child is, to say, you know, on that day when we turn to go back in the house, here's what we want to know, and here's what we want them to know. And your list may look different than ours, but if you build into it between now and then, you'll turn to go back in the house, and I promise you, you'll be greatly comforted, even a little bit excited about what lies in the future for your child, because of the thoughtful process leading up. Just a little tool that I hope will help you. One other thing, I got to remind you, I tell parents this all the time, you are where you are by divine appointment. God could have chosen anyone to parent your kids, and He gave them to you. And He did that because you're the best possible person to do that. He wants to use you to do that and to make the decision. And secondly, because you are where you are by divine appointment, I promise you, you're doing better than you think you are. Continue to become a student of your child and continue to learn, but you're doing better than you think you are. So hang in there, enjoy the fall, and enjoy the next milestone that you hit. God bless you.